House of Cards. It's a Netflix original television series about the twisted underworld of politics in the United States. And it is poisoning the minds of Americans, young and old. Graphic violence, the unashamed pursuit of power, the justification of murder for personal gain. I'm fine with all of that stuff. No, what I'm talking about is far more insidious. Binge watching. Thanks to House of Cards, millions of Americans are experimenting with binge watching. Tonight I'm here to raise awareness and to help many of you and your families heal from this addiction and disease. Binge watching is the act of watching a great deal of television in a short span of time. And it is the most destructive force to impact American culture since Autotune. Back in the good old days, we would watch television on a television, believe it or not, and you would have to wait 1 week between every episode of television. Then in 2012, Netflix released House of Cards, and they released 13 episodes in one day. This led millions of people to consume 13 episodes of television in as short as 1 or 2 weeks. And tonight, I'm here to confess, yes, I was one of those people. In the summer of 2013, my friends convinced me to start watching House of Cards. Season 2 had already come out, so they were 13 episodes ahead of me, and there were 26 episodes to get through. So I started watching as fast as I possibly could. I would, get home from work, put my laptop next to the stove, and watch as I was cooking dinner, watch as I was eating dinner, and just watch, 5, 6 episodes a night. But as fast as I was watching, I feared it was not fast enough. You see, I had already entered stage 1 of binge watching. Spoiler paranoia. All 26 episodes were already out. I was behind. The ending could be ruined for me at any time, at any place. And spoiler paranoia led me to act out in erratic and strange ways. One day I was taking the train to work, and I heard a man in front of me say the name Frank Underwood. So I immediately just got out of my seat and bolted down the aisle into the next train compartment to avoid hearing any spoilers. I left my jacket, my bag behind, just my laptop, abandoned all of it. But it wasn't just my material possessions that suffered, it was also my relationships. You see, spoiler paranoia quickly spiraled me into stage 2, social isolation. In order to avoid spoilers, I started becoming a hermit. I would just lock myself in my cave and watch TV, which I was already doing with my time, but then I stopped going on social media. I didn't want any sensitive information populating my news feed. I would wear noise-canceling headphones wherever I went, on the train, at work. I didn't want to overhear anything that I didn't want to overhear. And friends who watch the show, I'd avoid them most of all. Because we all know how those conversations go. Oh, dude, you're watching House of Cards? That's awesome. Did you get to the part where Claire dies yet? No, I did not get to the part where Claire dies yet. I'm about to get to the episode where you die. You understand? So to avoid accidentally murdering people, I just avoided people. But it was fine. I told myself it was fine. It was just temporary. I would watch all the episodes really fast, and then I would finally be able to rejoin society and talk to everybody about House of Cards. Things would be great. But that, of course, led me to stage 3 of binge watching, The Hangover. I did finish House of Cards, and when I did, I found that I didn't really want to talk about it with anybody. I wasn't excited about it anymore. I just felt empty. I wasn't reveling in the characters' victories. I wasn't wallowing in their demise. I was completely disconnected. I wasn't sure why, but then I realized that maybe all of that time that I missed in between the episodes, digesting, processing, hoping for things for the characters or worrying about things that might happen to them. That sort of emotional and intellectual context is important to ground you to the show, to enjoying it. Without that stuff, it's just meaningless. Ironically, once I left my hermit cave and rejoined society, I was more alone than ever. But I healed. I got better. A year later, a couple of friends convinced me to start watching Game of Thrones. It was 2014, season 4 had just finished, so there were 40 episodes available. But I had learned And I convinced those friends to watch all 40 episodes with me, one at a time, every week, for 40 weeks. And then season 5 when it came out. So actually it was more than a year. We were watching one episode every single week. And what I found was the 6 days in between those episodes were more enjoyable than the 40 minutes that we actually sat down watching them together. Because we would talk about them, and we would worry about the characters, or who's gonna die, or what we think's gonna happen, and blah, blah, blah. And that stuff was fun and engaging. That kind of emotional and intellectual stimulation is really what enjoying television should be about. It shouldn't be about just sitting alone, binging through it as fast as you can. So, Toastmasters, learn from my mistakes. If you or a loved one is suffering from binge watching, get help. All right. Step 1, admit that you have a problem. Step 2, reach out to a higher power, me, and I'll tell you to stop binge watching. And step 3, find a support group. Watch TV with friends, because it's not meant to be watched alone. And it's certainly not meant to be watched at such a breakneck speed. In television and in life, steady, deliberate pacing will bring you more fulfillment. If you try to build your happiness with instant gratification, it'll tumble down, like a house of cards.
Thank you, Scott. You're not going to stop me from binge watching.